Hello and welcome to the podcast Love Yourself and Live Your Life, your podcast for personal development, a positive mindset and more consciousness in your life. My name is Jolante Kolleg and I'd like to thank you for joining into this week's podcast episode. And as I was speaking last week already about self-love, this week I'd like to continue, and this week I would like to share with you a few tips and exercises you can do in everyday basis in order to develop more self-love for yourself. Things that you can do that will help you to accept and love yourself. So listen to this episode and please share your thoughts with me. And if you haven't heard yet, I have started just last week with the Rise Up Club, Wake Up and Shine. And in this club, we meditate every single morning. And I'm trying to do at least once a week a self-love meditation. And the self-love meditations, they help you to connect with yourself, to accept yourself, and simply love yourself the way you are. Because while you meditate, you open your heart even more and into really loving and accepting yourself just the way you are. And if you want to join the Sunrise Club, then you can simply do it by going on my website, jolantekolleg.com, or you just contact me directly and I'll send you the details. And now let's start with this week's podcast. Many people confuse self-love with selfishness. They think if someone loves themselves, they are selfish. They look in the mirror and they admire themselves. And they don't care about anyone else, just only about themselves. But to love yourself is really as treating yourself as your best friend. Recognizing who you are, accepting yourself by simply who you are. And I have already recorded last week this episode. So if you didn't listen to it yet, listen first of all to last week's podcast and then to this one, because in this podcast episode, I will be sharing with you some steps, some tips, some exercises, what you can do to start loving yourself and start accepting yourself just the way you are. So if I would ask you now, mention to me who are the 5 most important people in your life. And I'm just wondering, when would you mention yourself? Because most of the people, they will not mention themselves. They will mention their children, their partner, their husband, wife, parents, friend, but never themselves. And to be honest, you are the most important person for yourself. It's not selfish to love yourself because you are the person that you spend most of the time with. You're spending with yourself every single moment of your life, from birth until death. So you should be your best friend, and only who truly loves himself or herself can also truly love others. And how often are we so much kinder and more compassionate to others than to ourselves? We expect always so much more from ourselves. We criticize ourselves more. We simply treat ourselves differently than others. As an example, if your friend would do a mistake or something didn't work out for him or for her, you would be very understanding. You would be very compassionate. You would tell your friend, it's not a problem. Don't worry, everything will be fine. But if that happens to you, you probably criticize yourself. You probably tell yourself, I should have known better. I shouldn't have done it this way. I always get it wrong. I'm silly. I'm stupid. I'm useless. So it's important to realize what our inner dialogue is, to realize what is it that we think the whole day, and then to start acting. And I'd like to share with you a few steps, a few ways how you can start loving yourself more, a few ways that help you to accept yourself, because this is, in my opinion, the first step into the direction to feeling happier about ourselves and as well how we perceive the world. So in the first step, I think it's important to learn to become self-aware, because I think for all these years that we have been living already, we have been always told how we have to be. And it started already at early ages. Our parents and the school, they all told us how we have to be, how we have to behave, what we have to do or what we don't have to do, what is right and what is wrong. We have been constantly controlled by the outside. So we started growing up with it. And of course, there was always so many distractions out there. There was the mobile phone, there are other people, there are things going on in our life. We have our jobs, we have families, and we are constantly distracted. So basically, the outside world influences our life, and we live mainly in the outside, so that we don't even notice what we want and what we need. And we then therefore lose the connection to ourselves. And we lose our needs and our feelings because we mainly live in the outside and we are not connected with ourselves. So I think we need to ask ourselves the questions: what does make me feel good? And what doesn't make me feel good? What do I enjoy? And what do I not enjoy? What kind of people make me feel happy? What people do I like to spend the time with? And what kind of people are not making me feel good? Because once we know what makes us feel good and what doesn't, we can then start acting. If we are surrounding ourselves with people who don't make us feel good, we should start avoiding them. Because a no to someone else is a yes to yourself. And even if it sounds really hard to avoid friends or family members that don't do you well, that don't make you feel good, you're not doing yourself a favor. It will have a positive result for you because you deserve to be happy. I deserve to be happy. All of us, we deserve to be happy. So we need to allow ourselves to be happy. It is our choice and it's our decision. Because only if we are self-aware, we know what we need, we know what we require. And if we love ourselves, then we are able to follow our needs and to follow the happiness. The second step is be kind to your body. Because how often do we just use our body or we even abuse our body? Our bodies are so valuable. We need our bodies. They are working for us constantly. They give everything. If you just imagine what a miracle our bodies are, and we just expect them to do everything for us, and we even push them. How often do we not give them enough sleep? Or how often do we just feed our bodies with fast food, with rubbish, with food that is not giving us anything? Or how often do we put any chemicals on our body, saying in shampoos, in body lotions, in conditioners, in whatever it is, in perfumes, in makeup? We are just putting chemicals on our bodies. If I would give you a bottle of bleach, would you apply it all over your body now? Would you put it on your skin? You wouldn't. So how can we love ourselves if we are not treating our bodies in a loving and kind and caring way? So we need to start giving our bodies what they deserve. We need to make sure that we have enough sleep, that we drink enough water, that we feed our bodies with healthy, nutritious foods, that we avoid alcohol, cigarettes and drugs, and we treat our bodies and we give our bodies attention. We give ourselves some massage, or we go for a massage. We use natural products instead of using any chemicals in there. Me, for example, I'm using all homemade products for my skin. And I am not using any more makeup for a few years. And the interesting thing is, since I have started practicing self-love, I learned to accept my body and I learned to accept myself, and I just like myself the way I am now, without any makeup, without putting any chemicals on my hair. And it's okay. I like myself while previously I wouldn't have left the house without having had my hair styled and put loads of makeup on my face. But I now learned to love and accept myself by who I really truly am. So the third step is write a love letter to yourself. And it may sound really strange to you now, but this is such an incredible exercise because, yes, you probably have never written a love letter to yourself. But by simply writing down what you're proud of yourself, what can you do very well? What are your strengths? What are your talents? Why are you so loved? And what is special about yourself? What can you do very good? Why other people love you? What is it exactly about you? And you may find it a little bit difficult at first to write down all the positives, all the strength of all of your talents. Very often we struggle to find all the positives about ourselves because I think we mainly focus on the things we cannot do, and we criticize ourselves so often that we just don't put the focus on what our strengths are. But I'm sure there is so many strengths and so many positives about you. And if you struggle, what you can also do, you can ask your family, you can ask your friends, what are the 5 or 10 things about you they mostly love, they mostly look up for you? What do they think, what your strengths are? And take some time for this exercise. Do it in a quiet moment when you have some time, and give all the attention and write down, just listen to your heart and let your heart speak. The more you become aware how much you achieved, what your strengths are, what your talents are, why you're so special, the easier you'll find it to love and to like yourself. Because where you bring your focus is where your energy goes. Because if you keep thinking all that I can't do, all that I did wrong, all the mistakes, you create automatically a negative feeling. You create anger, you create frustration at yourself. But the more you focus on all the positives, on all that you achieved, on all that you can, that will create a positive feeling, and you feel more energized, you feel more positive, and you start creating even more. And if you have a bad day one day, get the letter out, read through it, and I'm sure your positive energy will instantly rise again, because you will start reminding yourself why you're so valuable and what all your strengths are. Immediately you will feel that the energy changes and you will gain so much more power. It will make it easier to deal with many difficult situations. In the 4th step, commit to yourself and make a promise to yourself. Put yourself first, because very often we put others first, we put the work first, we put all the other non-important things first, but it's you that you have to put yourself as your priority, because your well-being, and if you are well enough, you can then as well look after others. So commit to yourself and promise to yourself to put yourself first and stop pleasing others. So make yourself the promise to look after yourself. So for example, if you know that certain foods harm you, for example, you know that gluten is not good for your body, so avoid eating bread and pasta and pizza. Commit to yourself, promise to yourself to look after your body. And if it means to do a bit more exercise, to meditate, or to stop drinking alcohol or stop smoking cigarettes, make yourself the promise to look after yourself and treat your body loving and kind. You can even plan some time just simply for yourself, to give yourself some attention, to relax, to recharge your batteries, to care for yourself. And for me, what completely changed my life was my morning routine. And I would advise you to start a routine, a morning routine. It could be meditation, it could be yoga, it could be a walk. promise to give yourself some time and do something good for your body. Me, for example, every single morning when I wake up, I meditate, I practice gratitude, or I say some positive affirmations. I do some journaling. I drink fresh ginger tea. I do drink some fresh celery juice. I have got a very healthy and balanced breakfast. And in the evening, the same. I drink green tea. I read. I meditate. I practice gratitude. I write down my daily successes and what I'm proud of. All that helps me to stay positive, to stay healthy, to have a healthy mind and a healthy body. I promised it to myself. I committed myself to it. And that's why it makes me feel so good. In the 5th step, do things that make you happy and surround yourself with people that make you feel good. Because the more we do things that make us happy, afterwards we feel energized, we feel alive, we feel light, we feel full of joy. And that's what life is about. That's what you want to experience every day. So do every day something that makes you feel good, that makes you feel happy. So what is it for you? Maybe it's going for a walk, maybe it's cycling, maybe it's jogging, or maybe it's reading a book. Maybe you enjoy singing or dancing, or maybe you like traveling. So do this kind of things. Keep yourself as often as possible entertained with activities that you just enjoy. And the same with people. Surround yourself with people that love and accept you by who you are, not by what you do for them, not by what you give them, just simply by you, where you can be yourself. And you will see it will make you glow, it will make you shine, it will make you feel incredibly happy. So go and follow your heart and follow your happiness. And the 6th step is put your expectations down. Put your expectations down on you. Because how often do we think we have to be perfect? How often do we think we have to do everything right? We cannot do any mistakes. But realize you are a human and you can do mistakes. It's okay to do mistakes. We all do mistakes. So put your expectations down. Be kind with yourself. Change the inner conversation, the inner chatter, to a more loving and kind dialogue. And my last advice is, and this is probably the most important advice, the most important step, is to become your best friend. Be the best friend for yourself. Treat yourself as your best friend. Treat yourself as a person who is very, very, very important to you. Someone who you really like, someone who is important. And think, how do you treat your best friend? What do you say to your best friend? Do you praise your best friend if he or she achieved something? Do you motivate your best friend? Are you happy for your best friend's achievements? So whenever you achieved something, celebrate it. Celebrate it with champagne. Encourage yourself. And if you feel tired at the end of the day, put yourself a bath in or book a massage for yourself. Treat yourself. Praise yourself when you did something yourself. Celebrate yourself. Be kind to yourself as you would be with your best friend. So basically become your best friend always. So that means then to stop criticizing yourself. Don't say nasty things to yourself. And if you realize this negative thought, stop immediately and start speaking to yourself as your best friend. So be your best friend for yourself. So that was it. That was this week's podcast episode. And I really hope there was one or the other tip that really helps you. And remember, self-love is so important. It's the first step to a truly happier life when you start loving yourself, because it all starts with you. It all starts with us. If we don't give ourselves what we want from the outside, we will not be happy. And if we don't love ourselves, we cannot love others. We cannot truly, unconditionally love others. So do it not only for yourself, but do it as well for the people around you. Okay, so that was this week's podcast, and I really hope you enjoyed it. And if you did, I would be very grateful if you could leave me a positive comment. And if there is anyone that you can think of who would also benefit from this podcast or any other podcast that I have recorded in the past, then please recommend it, forward it to anyone you love, anyone you care for. And also don't forget to subscribe to this podcast if you don't want to miss any future episodes. And as I mentioned earlier, we have started on Monday with the Sunrise Club, with our daily live meditations in the morning, where the most wonderful people are joining every single day. And if you would like to join us live, then simply go on my website, jolantecollect.com, and you find all the details in there, how to register, where to subscribe. And if you cannot be live, then these meditations are being saved in our private group, where you will have access to the group and you can then watch these meditations anytime you want. These meditations are, for example, self-love meditations, gratitude meditations, all kinds of guided meditations to start the day in a positive way, because the way we start every single day is the foundation for the full day. So I would really love it if you would want to join the community, and if you think you are also one of these beautiful, wonderful souls with a big heart who would like to connect with like-minded people, then just join the community. We would love you to be a part of us. So have a wonderful day now. Take care. Loads of love. Your Jolante.